Computer. So I want to thank you guys for coming to the class tonight. This is Essential Oils for Immunity. I am Holly Agnew. I am an eating psychology coach, essential oil educator, and doTERRA wellness advocate, and the owner of Holly's Holistic Health. I love to help people get healthy and stay healthy, and doTERRA essential oils have helped me to do that. Tonight I have a guest speaker with me up in my left-hand corner. Yeah, there you go, Tiffany Jablonski. She is also with doTERRA. She is a digestive tract specialist, a natural one. She deals with poop. Let's just put it that way. She's also a raw food chef. She's an iridologist, and she is a silver in doTERRA. So I'm going to let Tiffany take it away.
Oh, thank you, Holly. I appreciate being here, and it's wonderful to meet some of you for the first time. Does anybody not have an account with doTERRA? You guys all have an account with doTERRA? Okay. So just so that I kind of know where I'm going, but I do colon hydrotherapy. So
That's the word I was looking for.
I figured that. Usually people kind of like, I don't know what exactly. So I clean out, we brush our teeth every day. And so we have a movement every day. So I'm kind of like the dentist for your colon. So I clean that out. You still go to the dentist to get all the plaque and garbage out of them between the cracks and crevices. Well, I go in your crack and crevice and clean that out too. And I've got a strange sense of humor, so please forgive me ahead of time for anything that comes out of my mouth. So today we're going to talk about the immune system, and being a digestive tract specialist, I've studied the microbiome. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm certified raw food chef, so I understand how the body takes in food, what it does with it, whether it moves through our body or how it moves. And so I didn't do any PowerPoint or anything because I'm not that like savvy on all of that, but I have some notes around here. You're going to see me like flipping papers around and whatnot. But when we have a healthy digestive tract, we have good sleep. So how many of you sleep well at night? Have a good solid sleep? So 3. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. So I'm appreciating the working on it space. So our sleep is one of them. Does anybody know where the vitamin, you guys are more in the snow and areas where there's not as, I'm like sunshine country. This is where the sunshine lives. And so I can be outside and just get my vitamin D, but I'm usually in this clinic all the time. So my vitamin D levels are usually pretty low, which causes a lot of depression and things to that manner. The lymphatic system. Do we get some of this puffiness here, soreness in the armpits? Yeah, and here and in the hip flexors, right in front of the hip where our legs bend up. So that's where more of the lymphatic system is, moving that lymph. Couple good little things to do. I'm going to show you a little lymph drainage. So when we reach into our armpit right here and go in, we're almost touching our rib here. So and pumping that. So I'll crisscross my arms and get into that, because I do end up with lumps in my breasts, and that is congested lymph. And so then that helps to move it, and then it's not so tender or sore in my armpit area. So that's a helpful little hint to move that. And you want to tap here. So moving the lymph, the way the lymph connects to the immune system is that's picking up all of the garbage from this cellular level. So as that's picking it up, if it's congested, that's going to start slowing you down. That's going to start making more ailments just keep building up. So if we can keep moving that, A mini trampoline is your best friend. I bought it for my son when he was a baby, and I still use it to this day. And it was just to keep him busy. So then he was kind of playing and doing stuff. But I'm super grateful that I spent, whatever money I did 30 years ago to buy that silly little trampoline to be able to bounce on it today. So that helps to move the lymph also. And you don't have to jump heavy, just moving a little bit. Your feet don't even need to leave the trampoline if you're one that doesn't want to, or I'm kind of afraid to be off the ground too much at my age anymore. So I just doing that light bounce and my feet don't leave the trampoline. I'd like to fantasize about doing fancy moves, but that doesn't happen for me. That doesn't happen. So what are we eating? What are we eating to create a healthier immune system? We all know that when we eat sugar, well, I don't know if we all know. Let me inform you. When we eat sugar, we have about 4 to 8 hours. I didn't want to say 48. That our immune system's almost suppressed. So a lot of times when we're going to conventions or we're going out in public and all of that, and we're eating a lot of sugar, we're just almost inviting in the bad guys into our body. So that suppresses our immune system, is that sugar intake. So what do you want to do? You want to try to eat more fruits and vegetables. You want to eat more fresh leafy greens, more fish, more chicken, more lighter proteins, lighter, cleaner proteins, as opposed to the heavier over processed foods. So that's going to help with your immune system. When working with people here at my clinic, I am dealing with people who have been sick for quite some time, and they don't understand why. They have the belching, they have the indigestion, they have gas and bloating. And so a lot of times what happens is as we here, let me give you something else to look at. So as we eat our food and it gets into it comes into the stomach, our stomach, maybe we don't have enough hydrochloric acid to break things down. So we need nutrients to keep our hydrochloric acid going, because after we're 35, because of the processed foods and the foods that we eat on a regular basis, those foods are not being broken down because we don't have enough hydrochloric acid in our stomachs, because we don't have the building blocks to build those hydrochloric acids. So I like that doTERRA has Terrazyme to help you with the enzymes to help break that down as we're eating food. So taking Terrazyme about 30 minutes before you eat, I've done it 10 minutes. I've done it while I was eating. So don't hold that like it's gospel. So, but just taking this is going to help your hydrochloric acid and your stomach, and breaking it down before it gets to the small intestine. So when it gets to this small intestine, our small intestine needs to have our food completely broken down. So our small intestine, the lining of our small intestine is right here. This is actually like a hair. So if this is a hair, I know you can't probably see it, but on that is like velvet on the hair. So that is so microscopically little that's how we need to break down our foods. And we don't pay attention to that. So when we are eating, we're women, we're moms, we're running like mad women, we're like crazy people. So we go chomp, chomp, swallow. And so how big is that going to be to trying to be absorbed into this? Because the stomach doesn't have any teeth. And the stomach does not break down the carbs and the sugars. It's only in the mouth where we break down our carbs and sugars, because the amylase is in the saliva. And so we break it down with our teeth, and that saliva will help to break down those carbs and sugars. Okay, does that make some more sense? So when we chomp, chomp, swallow, our small intestines getting upset because now those carbs and sugars aren't broken down. So those carbs and sugars are sitting in that small intestine in a bigger molecule, and it's fermenting. What happens when we take grapes and just mush them together and leave them in a jar? It turns into wine, it ferments, and it gets gassy and bubbly. Why do we have gas and bloating? That's exactly why. And so that gas and bloating starts building up in here, and then it's building up bad bacteria, which is called SIBO, small intestine bacteria overgrowth. And so that SIBO starts coming in here, and then our body starts absorbing some of those little bacteria. And then if you do a live blood analysis, they're seeing what's going on. They're seeing undigested food in your blood. They're seeing, why do we get like higher blood pressure? Because there's thickness in our blood. What's making our blood thick? Sometimes it's undigested food. So we can support our immune system just by digesting our food better. Okay. So when we do that, we need to do things to support that. How are we going to support that? So I love the doTERRA fiber. I just sold my last bag in here, so I don't have a bag to show you to be all fancy. But I like that there's low sugar in the doTERRA fiber. I like my because there's other fibers that I've had in my clinic and in other clinics that I've been in, and there was a lot of sugar in it. And so that's not good for us. And so the sugars are 1 gram of sugar per serving. So we are being able to use those fibers to help break down and scrub and clean. Another thing that I really love being a digestive tract specialist is I do not promote psyllium. Psyllium is, have you ever poured a spoon of psyllium in a cup, stirred it around, and let it sit on your counter for a minute? You could turn that thing upside down and nothing would come out. So if you're dehydrated, how is that going to get moved through your digestive tract? It's not. It's going to turn into a brick wall. And then you call me up and go, I don't know why I'm so constipated. And I'm like, well, let's go break down the Great Wall of China out of your colon and your digestive tract, because you're not drinking enough water, your system's completely dehydrated, and it's not working right. So that doTERRA's fiber does not have psyllium in it. So we're being able to use that with the flax and the things that are in it. Those are going to give us the good oils. That's going to give us the good insoluble fiber that's going to help scrub that lining. That whole 30 feet from mouth to hiney is 30 feet of tubing that we need to keep clean. And we don't realize that we need to keep that clean. Okay. So when we can get that moving and keep that bacteria levels down, that's going to be an ideal thing. So with the doTERRA fiber, there's some prebiotics in it too. That's going to help heal that lining and give a good nutrition base for a probiotic. And what's beautiful about doTERRA probiotics is it's double coated. So that first coating gets broken down in the stomach, it gets put into the small intestine, and then it can plant really nicely into the small intestine. So the doTERRA probiotic is a phenomenal product to be using with the fiber. Okay. We need minerals and nutrients in order for things to work properly. So I like what doTERRA's done with the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and I really like it. this costs a little bit more money, but that's worth it. Because when you have a pocket full of vitamins all day long in your pocket and you forget about it, at least this is contained if you end up washing your shirt, because I have pockets in my shirt that, you know, I don't know. Have any of you done that before? I do it all the time. It might just be me, but I love being able to have this, because then I know I hear a crunch in my pocket. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to take my vitamins. So this is phenomenal for me. And then I can also share it with clients or potential members that are, you know, I can give them 5 packets of these and see if they try them and see if they're interested, and encourage them to go to my website. Mental note, if you're trying to build your doTERRA business, always staple your business card or your link to your website on absolutely everything you give out. If it's just 1 packet of this, staple your card to it. If it's do the label stickers for your mailing labels, build those out. So then they have your contact number. I've had so many products that people have given me, and I went, oh, that was kind of nice. I wish I knew where the hell I got this or where the hell I could reorder it, because they never put their phone number on it. They never shared any information. And I want you guys to be successful at no matter what you do. So always put your information, even if it's just a phone number, but it should be your phone number and your website to doTERRA. But I love these. I love these because you're getting the minerals. Minerals help with the changing of the guards, is what I call it. When a mineral is in there, so our cells float around in fluid. So when that fluid doesn't have any minerals, it's like distilled water. So that water, when water's distilled, you cannot carry an electrical current through distilled water. You have to put minerals in it in order for an electrical current to go through. So as these cells are floating through like this cell's trying to tell this cell what the brain told it to do, and it's like a bad cell phone reception. They can't hear what, I don't know what you said. I'm supposed to go where? And so when we have enough minerals, our body can continue to talk more clearly, can have a better conversation. It's like a bad marriage. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question.
Yeah, I got a question about the minerals. So I commonly take the cell salts, the 12, this is a real typical old fashioned, everybody knows about it. 12 cell salts for my electrolytes. Now, are the minerals, is it okay to take the minerals with, because I take these for my electrolytes? I guess that's where I'm kind of screwing up.
You can still take those, and they have the minerals in here in the packet here.
So is that the
vitamins? So there's vitamin and mineral, and then the cellular rejuvenation.
Okay, and the minerals are like the trace minerals, like in the cell salts, or are they different? Are they different minerals? Are they like just magnesium? I guess I need to read the label.
That's a really good question. Just a second, I can read the back of the box.
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm not good at absolutely everything, but I'm really good. So you're going to get the chromium and the manganese, and these are chelated. So those are a little more broken down. The selenium, zinc, magnesium, iodine, iron, calcium. So all of those minerals are really good. And on your cell salts, I haven't touched those in a long time. What does it say on the back for those?
It says calcium, calcium they've got them abbreviated.
Okay.
Calcium,
So, but does
phosphorus, I
it say
think.
where the calcium's coming from?
Well, these are, you mean if they're chelated?
Well, sometimes, okay, so we can get calcium from a rock. All right. But will our body use that and break it down? What I
Oh,
love about doTERRA's calcium, it comes from coral. So coral calcium is better bioavailable for our
right,
bodies.
right.
So
Coral
you're,
calcium is, yeah, coral calcium is the best. I'd
you're
have to, I'd have to look up from the manufacturer. These are sublingual. They're
Mhm.
they're the Highland brand.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the good old standby that people have used for decades and decades and decades. But that's why I didn't know if I would be taking too many minerals. But then I wonder if you take too many
Your
minerals, I think they just flush out of your body
body
anyway.
flushes it out because you
Yeah.
just end up having looser stool. For the
Right,
most part.
right. And I have highly purified water. I have dead water. I have a system here that's like a $20,000 purification system because I ran into, we have a well and we had high arsenic and it turned into
Oh.
a nightmare with my health. So I started with, we started with just purifying our water, but when you purify your water, you're drinking dead water. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great water, but there's no life in it at all. And so that's why we started doing the cell salts for the,
Yeah, so that's just basic line. You got to think that your cell salts are just giving you what you would have naturally drank from a spring water.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, for the most part, and I'm not saying this for everything, but for the most part, when we have the regulation of that, you should have, I'm just using randomly 50 milligrams or whatever, or like iodine in our iodized salt. So that's just enough to keep us from having a goiter. That's
Right.
just enough to keep us from having a goiter.
Mhm.
We need more in our diet to create a healthier thyroid. Okay. So when you're drinking hungry water, is what I call it, hungry water, because it's gonna suck up those minerals like nobody's business, because you don't want it to suck up the minerals in your own. So if you have a reverse osmosis system, if you have I have a Berkey, and that cleans the water, and it's pretty, so I'm always doing a mineral, extra minerals in my diet to make sure that I'm not drinking so much hungry water. Okay.
Got it.
And even a pinch of real salt under your tongue is going to help out a lot too. And I mean, like real, Redmond's real salt,
Yep.
Celtic sea salt, all of
Yep.
that. That's going to be good for your body.
Okay, great. So I can still take the
You can-
doTERRA.
and it will be good for you because you got to think your Highlands is just making sure your water's not sucking the life out of you. And your vitamins are going to be, oh, here's a little bit extra calcium. She doesn't walk around like a hunchback, so we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to be still standing tall when we get a little older. As a matter of fact, let me sit up a little taller in my chair.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks.
So that will help out a lot. So a lot of times, what another product that I really like in doTERRA is the GX Assist. Not everybody, I don't tell my clients to take that like 2 or 3 at a time. I start off with one. So that GX Assist is made from the caprylic acid that's in coconut oil, but coconut oil is got other things in it. So, but it's like pulling just the caprylic acid and putting it in that capsule with some of the essential oils. So when we use caprylic acid, that's going to help to clean up any of the unmentionables in our tract that are the bad guys, to help clean up some of the bad guys that can be in there that are causing a lot of that discomfort in our digestive tract. So that's another. Go ahead, you unmute yourself if.
Is the GX Assist something that you would take all the time, or sporadically, or how often would you take it?
Only when I was doing a pretty serious cleanse. I don't take On Guard on a regular basis, and I take things when my body needs it. If I'm having an allergy, if I'm having a seasonal issue, I turn to my I just drew a blank. Price. Yes, thank you. I don't know why. I was said it in my head right before it came out of my mouth. So if I'm having seasonal issues, then I look at my Triase. If I'm having a little bit of discomfort in my esophageal area and lungs, then I might start taking my On Guard Plus. And that I love that for support of my body, and it has saved me multiple times in not because I run this clinic. I have 4 therapy rooms. I'm the only therapist here. I got to pay all the rent. I got to pay a receptionist. If I'm not working, I can't pay rent. So if I'm not feeling well and I have to call clients, then they're gonna go, well, I'm not even coming back. And it is what it is. But if I'm not feeling good, I don't want to get other people not feeling good too. So yes.
I finish your thought, and then I got a question for you.
Okay. So I do everything I can to keep my body moving in the right direction. And that's where I turn to those, but I don't stay on them for long. I do it till I feel better, and then I'm done. But I always want to take some probiotics afterwards, regardless. Go ahead, Holly.
So that was my question. I was going to ask you if you were, since the GX Assist, you're saying gets rid of the bad stuff. So what does PB Assist do?
So the PB Assist is going to put the good guys back in there. So these are like the cops. So the GX Assist and On Guard and those are killing off some of the bad guys, but they also kill off the good guys. So what you always want to do is some fiber and PB Assist. And the reason why you want to do the fiber with that is because it has the prebiotics to allow this to live in there. So if I was a probiotic and I get into your digestive tract and you have no food for me, and it's like Skid Row in there, do I want to stay? No, I want to live in Rodeo Drive and no, I'm not like that. I don't need a Gucci bag or anything, but I want to be able to live in a nice home. I don't want to live in the slums. So if I'm a probiotic, I want to hopefully be able to have access to good food, access to good stuff. So that's why I always recommend that you do fiber that has a prebiotic, and doTERRA's fiber does, and a good probiotic. Okay. So does that help you out? Yes.
Okay. I used to have colonics for
Okay.
about 25 years. And I remember she retired. She was like 85 years old. And she's a doll. And she always would say to me when I would have high dairy, she could tell I had dairy because she would say, Terry, you've been having dairy again. And I'd look at her and she'd say, I see your snot plug. Here's your snot plug. She'd always say. And it would just gross me out.
Well, yeah, and we can see a lot of stuff. I say I'm a poop leaf reader. So I, instead of like a tea leaf reader, I'm like, I can tell you exactly what you ate, what your body doesn't like, or whether you use your teeth, or whether any of that. But if it's coming out like that, that all of that mucus that builds up in there, that's where all the bad guys can live, because they hide in there.
Yeah.
They hang out, and then it gets
Yeah.
sticky, so it sticks to the wall. So it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. She said that. She said all those little villi or whatever they're called
So I,
that grab your nutrition. She says it's like having dirty, slimy carpet and nothing can get past that snot barrier. She said it just slides past the snot. And so you're not getting all the nutrition from your food that you're eating. She said, get off dairy, get off of it.
yeah.
So I've done really well. I have dairy on a rare occasion now.
Nice. Some people's bodies can break that down, but digestive enzymes really help. So if you are like on a dairy fiend moment, sometimes we get that way. I'm not perfect. Okay. I am a certified raw food chef, but that does not mean I don't eat a good steak once in a while. So I make sure I bring enzymes so I can have my enzymes to help break that steak down. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're human. All of this is here. And a lot of it, what it is because it's over processed. So people who are allergic to dairy can drink raw milk. Raw milk is not always legal in all states. In the state of California, it's not really legal. They really shun raw milk. But it helps. And if that's what you need to do, then that's what you do. I had a goat just so I could have my own raw milk. And I'm from LA. We don't have goats in LA. So along with more of your immune system, a lot of the different organs we were talking about, our small intestine and all of that, the liver and the kidneys are kind of accessories. So we want to make sure those are getting cleaned out. So then, because if the liver is sluggish, then that's where a lot of different issues can come up. And so the Zendocrine, I like this Zendocrine that is, it used to come in the white bottle like this. They changed the bottles. This is just the older bottles that I happen to have right here. The Zendocrine that is the herbal one. I really like the combination of the herbal and the oil. And I've seen a big difference when my clients are taking those both together. So that's going to help with helping with the liver and helping with the kidneys and all of these accessory organs that we have to help let that garbage go. Let that crap go. I have a sign that says in my therapy room, and they think everybody thinks it's hilarious. So those are the doTERRA pieces that I really like to use, and those are the reasons why. Is there any other questions or anything that anybody wanted to share?
This was really helpful. Really helpful. Because I kind of look at the stuff and I'm like, oh, just one more thing. But now that I know what they do precisely, that's a good thing to know. This helped a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That makes me happy.
So is there a probiotic that that we have that that isn't a pill that could be taken instead?
Yeah. Oh, so you know what I really like is when I have a bridge right here, and I have a tooth right underneath the bridge that is wanting to be a root canal, but I won't let it. I won't let this become a root canal. So I'll take the PB Assist Junior and I'll put it in my mouth and I hold it in my mouth and I let it absorb sublingually, which is under the tongue. And then that helps to kill some of that bacteria and put some good probiotics in my mouth and in between my teeth. So I swish it because my mouth starts getting juicy, like the salivary glands just start working really good. So I swish it between my teeth, and that's really well. So don't, just because it says PB Assist Junior, don't think that that's only for kids. But it does have the probiotic that the child's digestive tract can handle, but we still need it too. Okay. So just know that's a good one. Donna, you had something else too. Did that answer your
Yes.
question?
Yeah.
I just got the Zendecrins, and now
Okay.
they're both in brown bottles, so you
Um,
can't refer to one being white and one being brown anymore. But
Yeah.
can you speak to the difference between the detoxification complex and the detoxification blend soft gels? Which one is
Okay.
herbal?
So the complex is the herbal, and the complex has the herbs. So think about what doTERRA is getting the essential oil from that little tiny bead of oil off of the plant or in the plant when they distill it. Okay. So that's the oil of the plant, but that's just one part of the plant. When you have the whole plant, then you have the right fiber to nutrients to enzymes to everything. Example, if I eat an apple and I have diabetes, there's enough fiber in that apple to help slow down that sugar that's in that apple to where my diabetes might go, my blood sugar might go up a little bit, but I can still enjoy that apple. But if I drink apple juice, my blood sugar is going to hit the roof and there's no fiber in it to slow that down, that absorption down. Same thing with the oil. So the essential oil is going to help go in there and do what it needs to do quick, but then the herbal complex blend is going to go in there and have all of the other nutrients that's in the actual plant to help bring that into the cellular level and do what it's supposed to do. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I have a little bit of a testimony. When I first met Holly, good grief, well, when I first started listening to Holly, I should say, I've known Holly all my life. I have no large intestine, and my coloring was absolutely gray, and whatever I ate was coming through my ostomy hole. If I ate apple, you could identify apple in my ostomy. And once Holly introduced me to the Lifelong Vitality and especially the Terrazyme, you could actually see the food broken down, which is more visible, for me because of my situation. But my coloring changed, my whole, air, how I felt and my energy and everything was huge. So, I'm very grateful for that. And we even do a demonstration where if you take oatmeal with apples in it and mix it up and let it sit overnight, if you open a Terrazyme capsule in it, you can stir it up and actually watch it break down the food and liquid, so it's very, very effective how it works.
Good. That's perfect. And I've done that several times to teach people. And when you talked about the carpet, that's in my thesis when I had to do a thesis presentation to become an instructor. So I'm kind of like a professor poo. I'm like professor, and I used a carpet and I rubbed an orange and they could see how the orange could go through the carpet. But then because we were at a hotel, so I brought a lasagna pasta noodle and cooked it in the coffee pot in the morning for my test, for my thesis, teaching spot. So I cooked this pasta noodle and I rubbed it on there and I go, did this villi absorb anything? It just kind of turned into glue on the top. There was nothing that came through. So then that people could see how our small intestine absorbs our nutrients and what things can happen to block that. So then we don't absorb any nutrients.
I have one more question, Tiffany.
Okay.
Can you speak about Digestion soft gels as opposed to Digestion, the tablets? When to use one versus the other, and is it healthy to use the Digestion all the time? Like I was one that had acid reflux and everything, and I don't have that now since I've started using some of the Digestion products. And is it I didn't know about like not using On Guard all the time because I take On Guard every day. So
I just don't, because I feel like it's hard on the digestive tract.
okay.
I take it when I need it. So then when I'm trying to be Holly knows that my mouth just goes and I have no filter between here and here. So when we're under the weather and we're not feeling too hot, we want to make sure whatever we're taking is going to help and support that, correct? When we take things all the time, I don't believe that it's as advantageous to, I think that's gonna not work as well on the bad guys.
I agree with that. I think your body
Like
builds
if we get immune to it.
it gets
Yeah.
used to it and it builds
You
like
build
a
a tolerance to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's where I really think that so back to the digest tabs and the digest zen enzymes, the enzyme more one. The digest tabs I use if I ate later at night and I go to lay down and I can feel my stomach bringing my food up to here, then I might chew on a digest tab on the way to the bed. So then I don't feel like it's coming back up. It's not like it can help keep that calm down. The digestion gel caps, or the because you were saying the gel caps, that's more of the essential oils, and I would use those like you've already broken that down. Your body had helped to not be able to have to depend on that all the time. And so that's what we use it for, is so then we don't have that issue all the time. We can teach our body to work naturally and to work cleanly. So that's when we're having a little bit of digestive issues, when we've been eating a little bit of too much grease, too much fat, too much of whatever we may be eating, then we might take the soft gels on a pretty regular basis for a short time. And then on occasion, then you start breaking it down to occasion. The things that I would take all the time would be the PB Assist, the Terrazyme, and the Zendocrine. The Zendocrine are the ones that I would be taking all the time, along with the Lifelong Vitality. And that's the On Guard Plus is my backup for when I'm just starting to feel a little under, a little scratchy, little, we all have that magical thing in our body says, hey, you're not getting enough sleep. I'm going to make your eyes water at the wrong time while you're driving, or I'm going to make your throat a little irritated. And so then that's when I hit that.
Would you do the the On Guard if you're going to be exposed to a challenging environment. Like, let's say you're going to go to a bad place. You know, you got to go through a.
I put
Like
an
when you're
On
traveling,
Guard.
when you're going to be in an enclosed area.
Exactly. So I went to yesterday, one of my clients invited me to a spa, and it's a really popular spa, and it's gotten to be like Disneyland for grown-ups. It's like the grown-up Disneyland, pools and soaking and everything. So I popped 2 of those On Guard Plus tablets before I left. And then I always have the On Guard throat drops in my purse if I go to church, if I get on an airplane. Every time I get on a new airplane, I pop one of those in my mouth. I don't get sick on airplanes. I do like if my clients are saying, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to go on vacation, I go, how many layovers do you have? And they're like, oh, I got 2 or whatever. Then I make sure I give them enough for each layover on the way there and on the way back. So then they can come back in and spend the rest of their money with me to get their stuff cleaned out afterwards.
You know what,
I've
though?
also
You know what,
found
though,
that
Terry?
the throat drops, the On Guard and Breathe throat drops are helpful for situations where you have to wear a mask. I find that it helps me a lot, you know, with breathing and being able to cope with the uncomfortableness of having to have a mask on too. And
Mhm.
also traveling, definitely the ginger throat drops too. So
Yeah. Nausea.
They
I
should
when I
make
on
a.
my cruise, I used the ginger ones a lot.
They should make a nasal spray. You know how when you go have surgery or well, it's one of the preventives that my functional medicine doctor gave me for the big C.
Uh-huh.
It's a preventative, and it's for nose. Just like when you go in for surgery, you spray that stuff up your nose before you go into the hospital for your operation.
Yeah.
doTERRA should make something with their On Guard to spray your nose.
Well, they did make those. I have them in the other room. I don't have them in here. They have the vitamin D, they have the vitamin C and the zinc. So those 2 tabs that they made, we have those with the On Guard. So that's a blessing right there. And that helps out tremendously.
Okay. One more question.
Okay.
So I'm new to all of this. I'm just kind of here to learn and listen and absorb all the information. I just had a question about if you had any concerns or recommendations. I had bariatric surgery, the gastric sleeve, so my digestion is a little different than a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really rough surgery, a lot of complications. So my digestive system has been out of whack for a very long time. So just kind of like any recommendations or comments, concerns for me, how to kind of fix that and get me on the right path. But like I said, being that I had the gastric sleeve surgery, if it should be any different than just like the normal everyday person.
Okay, so you had the sleeve. So our stomach is about the size of our fists normally. When we eat, it can balloon out like this. And when it balloons out, this is how, so our stomach has an extra layer of muscle in it. It's an oblique muscle. And so then it can do this to get all of the hydrochloric acid all over that food that you've just put in your tummy. Yours is this in a sleeve. So how much movement can it do? It's a little tighter to move it around to break it up. So I do recommend the digestive enzymes way more for you. You want to be able to break down and get as much nutrients out of whatever you're able to put in your little tummy now, because you got to think your tummy went from this because we stretch it out after we've, you know, gained enough weight and then been willing to have the sleeve. So say your tummy was this big and they made it this big and they put a cylinder on it, then it's not able to churn that food as well. Okay. So enzymes and minerals are going to be your best friend. So,
Okay.
so you do want to take your lifelong vitality pack. You do want to take your enzymes. You do want to, so sometimes you may even want to break this enzyme open, break your enzymes open and drink it down. So then it's not in a capsule. So it's already opened up, because
Okay.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because
Make it
your
easier to
body is a
absorb.
little different, you want to make sure you do enough clean protein, and don't give up on yourself on that, because 5 years in, you end up in my clinic miserable because you stopped doing your vitamins and your minerals and your clean protein, because your body's not breaking it down, because your stomach isn't able to churn as much. So that's something you have to have in the forefront of your mind for the rest of your life with that. Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't do the gastric bypass, because now they're bypassing a bunch of stuff and making your digestive tract shorter. We have 30 feet for a reason. And when I have gastric bypass clients, they're way more off. There's so much more going on with their bodies. 5 years out, they're usually in my clinic they're gaining their weight back. So
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I've kind of plateaued, but I'm not where I want to be. And I definitely have noticed things that, you know, aren't normal or regular. So just kind of where to kind of jumpstart that, kickstart that, to kind of have a better system and have my body work for me.
good. So
And
you
it's
like when you're
good
looking at
to-
fiber, huh? Go ahead.
I was going to say it's good to let your digestive tract rest also, because they talk about where you don't eat all day long. You shorten your eating window from, like, let's say eat 10 hours a day, maybe you shorten it to 8, or, you know, you can keep shortening it. Some people go as low as 1 and they only eat once a day. And what that does is it allows your digestive tract to just take a break, just have a rest.
So, but when you don't have the lining, enough to break things down, she
Right.
needs like a bite every couple hours.
Yeah, I had another friend that she had trouble with her digestive tract, and I went to her house and she was blending everything, all her food. So she was drinking everything. And what happened to her, it backfired on her, because you said earlier that when you chew, you're releasing those salivary enzymes to break down your food. And she wasn't doing that. So it really screwed her up.
When you do smoothies and you do liquid, so just so you know this. So when you're drinking a liquid, swish it around in your mouth. Get the saliva on it. So whatever sugars or carbs that are in there, the saliva is getting on that to swallow it. Okay. That's actually
Okay.
going to get you to love whatever, you know, that protein drink that you're drinking. And doTERRA's got some good protein drinks too. So that's going to help you out with
Okay.
that too. Yes.
I will definitely look into
So
that.
look
Thank you.
into that and see. B vitamins, a lot of times the B vitamins you have a little more difficulty breaking that down too. So I would look at some B vitamins to see how your body's doing. If you're starting to lose your hair, if you're starting to not feel as good, look into that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I hope you learned something, because it's exciting that you're new and that you're willing to learn. So kudos to you. So.
All right. So Tiffany, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm so glad the rest of you guys joined us too. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.